Okay, so this was 2014 Father's Day. This is my sister, my grandmother, my mom, and me, of course, and then my grandfather. So my grandparents, they're the ones that raised me. I mean, my mom was in the picture, but not a lot. Let's see. Um, this is all of us again. I don't know how to zoom in. So we're kind of close, but not that close as probably should be. Um, this is
Why do you think that is?
well because they're kind of set in their old tradition. So I mean, I get it. I mean, I think growing up, I was closer to my grandfather than I was my grandmother. Now that I'm older, I'm closer to my grandmother.
With your relationship with their father, did you still hold on to photos with him and the twins, or yourself and him at all?
I really don't have a lot of photos with him in them. So these pictures right here, these are really it from when they were born. Yeah, I don't have a lot of photos of us. That is Nazir.
How can you tell them apart besides the cap? And
I
of course, the genitalia.
He is a little bit darker than Nadia, and he was crying. Nadia was more pink, and Naz was more brown.
Does he still cry a lot more now that he's in his toddler years?
He is the biggest crybaby I've ever known. And he cries about everything. I think he's just really sensitive. They do have a pretty big support system, so they're not. Anytime they won't feel like they're by themselves.
How has the father been present during these monumental uh, points in their life, as far as like walking and speaking and birthdays and things of that nature?
Um, Realistically, the only birthday that he did go to was this one. This was 2018. And then, I mean, I have been there for all of those things, and he hasn't. Um, so I kind of experienced them on my own, which is fine.
Do you still think that underlying will affect them as far as like as they think back to these monumental times, and him not being present?
I do. I think that it'll affect them, but I think that they'll also be old enough to kind of make their own conclusion or assumption on what happened or, why he wasn't there. But I mean, my father wasn't really around that much growing up, so I only had my grandparents. So I mean, but I'm very empathetic, so I'm not upset or I don't have any ill will feelings, and I would hope that they would feel that same way. So, like I said, even though like we're not really close, everybody's still around. Everybody's close knit. The twins are more so closer to my side of the family and my friends, and everybody is kind of like very close, and they call and talk to each other all the time. But they did grow up growing up younger around my grandparents. Um, Nadia was like me; she hung on to my grandfather, and Naz hung on to my grandmother.
Who's this in this video?
This is my grandmother, and this is Nadia. This is November of 2016.
So the same as you, the twins have a close relationship with your grandparents.
They do, yeah. Nadia's favorite person is probably my grandfather, and Nazir's favorite person is my grandma. So this is Nadia and my grandfather. I don't know what she said to him in this video, but she definitely rolled her eyes.
So a lot of attitude at a very, very early start.
Yes. I ain't seen that video in a long time. This is when they started walking. This was June of 2017. So during this time, I was actually living with my grandparents, so that I had moved back home. So we kind of had our own space, but not really. So everybody was really close. I mean, we still are. The twins are really close too, though. This is January of 2018. If they're not doing this, then they're fighting. Then if they're not fighting, then they're asleep.
Is this tired of fighting and I would just fall asleep?
I don't know. I think the day I took this picture, I literally walked in the room and they were knocked out. I don't really know what they were doing before this. But they do, let's see.
Looking back at photos and videos like this, did that change your mind about motherhood?
It doesn't necessarily change my mind. I mean, it's not easy, but it is doable. And it's very enjoyable and rewarding because once they get, they really appreciate the things that you do once they get older. I mean, having all these memories is also good so I can show them. Let's see. This is December of 2016. So this has been their first Christmas holiday.
Oh, a lot of sass here.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. I have a lot of videos like that. I'm trying to find something else. This was a zoo trip we took in 2016. 2018, sorry. I think that it's really, and I love being a mom. It's really enjoyable, even though sometimes I get really frustrated. Any advice that I have to somebody is to always, just know that you're not alone, and it does get a little bit easier, but enjoy the small things because they are not going to be small forever.
A.
No, it sounds like E, but it's not A. What does it start with?
E.
Thank you. You're gonna draw an E. You about to go to bed? Don't worry. That's what happens when you wake up at the crack of dawn and don't take a nap all day. Can you draw an E, Naz? Naz.
My kids.
Hmm?
My tummy.
Go to the bathroom. Go upstairs and go to the bathroom.
A started with B and B started with ball.